Hola.
Hello and welcome to Somos Uno, brought to you by Synergy One Lending.
As always, today we strive to create an asset that serves those in the Latino community.
And with the help of today's special guests, we seek to create the ties, the places, the culture, and the history of the people we serve.
Just like we want all of you to set goals and get inspired, our goal is to do our part as the trusted voice for the Latino community.
So for today's show, we're getting you ready for the San Diego Latino Film Festival, along with a special invitation from the man who makes it all possible. And Ignacio, I hear he brought a special guest, so I'm excited.
Lili, that's right. Today we have Paola Middleton, a real estate expert that will be showcasing one of her listings in San Diego County and sharing with us the Latino lifestyle.
That sounds fun. I'm sure she's going to have all those expert tips. And we also have Chef Adam Robles. He is here telling us how he never gave up on his true passion, and that is the love of Latin food. And I think we can all agree.
Oh, that's amazing. I love food, Lili. So with all that said, let's get started with Somos Uno.
Joining us now is a man that has powered to the top of his field in Latino cuisine. That is Chef Adam Robles with Enchillamesta Catering. Okay, so Adam, I've known you for quite a while now, but for those viewers that don't know you so well, tell us how you got to where you are today.
Well, you know, my passion for cooking started about the age of 8. I grew up in the kitchen with my grandmother, watching her cook, and I always asked her how much she was putting in the food, and she would say this much. And I always wanted to learn, well, how much was this much? So I hung around, learned from her, and my passion's, been cooking ever since the age of 8.
So how'd you get to where you are now? Because I met you a few years ago, and you were in the retail industry. Before that, you were in like the pharmaceutical industry. So when did you decide this is what you wanted to do?
You know, like I said, passion's been my cooking my whole life.
Yeah.
And my passion has been cooking.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, I finally quit and started my catering company and have been focusing on Mexican comfort food and catering.
And why Enchillamesta? What is Enchillamesta?
Well, you know what? I chose that name because the specialty of the house is enchiladas and chilaquiles.
Oh, delicious.
And so the name is a little bit of a play on words because of the enchiladas and chilaquiles and an expression that we use in Spanish.
Enchillamesta.
No es enchilamuna, which means, like the English translation would be, it's not a piece of cake.
No, it's not.
So, and that's where that name came from.
Well, I'm sure that gets a lot of people to call you. As soon as they see that name, they're like, I want some of that. Is that your specialty? That's what you focus on?
We focus, like I said, the specialty are enchiladas and chilaquiles, but we specialize also in other types of Mexican comfort food. We do traditional things like sopes, guaraches, tacos, carne asada,
getting hungry. Keep going. So I'm sure you have a lot of Latinos, and as Latinos, we've also gotten into, some of the trends, and we've changed the recipes up. So what have you done to kind of adjust with the times?
I try to keep it as traditional as possible, and it's not because I don't like different fusions. I learned a lot of fusions in culinary school, but it's just, I don't know, to me, I wanted to stay traditional and keep it, like whole, so to speak.
And I think that's something that's needed. A lot of the times we do get Americanized Mexican food, Americanized Asian food. So I think it's something that we do need, because a lot of people are like, oh, I had some great Mexican food. And I think to myself, was it really Mexican, It's something to keep in mind. Is that something you get from people when they taste your food? They haven't had something like it, maybe the same dish, but not the same taste?
Absolutely. We run into that a lot. We get a lot of compliments on staying true and being traditional Mexican food. And a lot of people eat different types of Mexican food, and you see yellow cheese on everything.
Which we don't use.
And, in Mexico, we don't use yellow cheeses at all.
That's right.
It's queso fresco or queso cotija. And
so some of the venues you go to, because you're a catering company.
Yes.
So what kind of venues is it that you cater to? Anything, or what kind of businesses are your main focus?
Absolutely. Right now, we're doing a lot of caterings for special events like weddings and quinceañeras, wedding rehearsals, and we're doing at some of the local breweries in town.
Which is big.
Breweries. Yes. Yeah, especially with the craft beer industry. It's really, really big, and we're catering at those types of venues, and it's been going pretty well.
You know, I know Grand Rapids, Michigan, they're Beer City, USA, but I think we're competing with them. I think it's the biggest thing right now for San Diego, those breweries. And of course, when they don't offer something to eat, I've seen that where they have somebody else come in, then that brings a different kind of crowd. Have you noticed different kind of people just from doing those breweries?
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's always people, like you said, that want to have one or two beers and have a snack.
Yeah.
So, and I think tacos or Mexican food go really, really well with a lot of the beers that are brewed here in San Diego.
And I feel like you've grown. When you started this business, it was just you.
Yes.
By yourself.
Yes.
And earlier you told me you left a crowd of people working at an event.
I have about 3 people that work with me,
Okay.
depending on the size of the event. I have a sous chef whose name is Steven, and he's the one that helps me most of the time. Then I've got a couple of other guys that help out when the events are a little larger.
And on social media, I've seen some delicious plates. I mean, it's
Thank
not even
you.
the food, but it's the plating. Do you really make an effort to make sure the food looks extra delicious to put out there?
Absolutely. You know, the first thought is people eat with their eyes.
Yes.
So if you see something and it's not appealing, then automatically, maybe it's not going to taste that great. So I try to make sure that the food looks presentable, very nice and clean. And we get a lot of comments, good comments about that as well.
Well, of course, that's a big factor. And a lot of people that go, obviously, you get new guests, you get new people every time that you go to these events. So how do you reach out to people? Is it only through social media, or is it through these events, or how do you feel like you've been really picking up the speed on your new venture on catering?
It's a combination of both. You know, absolutely, social media is number one. You know, that's what's big right now. You know, that's modern era, and a lot of word of mouth. We have a lot of repeat customers at the breweries because they see us. They come and eat the food.
They can't have enough.
And they come and see us every week. Some places we're there, you know, every week, and they come just for the food.
Well, that's a good sign if they have you to keep coming back.
Absolutely.
You know the food's got to be good.
It's a big compliment.
Well, Adam, it's been a while, but I'm so glad to see you again, and I honestly can't wait to taste some of that food. I'm really
you so
excited. You
much.
promised me some. You promised
I
us
promised.
some.
I will bring you some.
So there has to be another segment where we have your delicious food. And what a beautiful story. Thank you for
Thank you.
inspiring everyone. Honestly, it's really inspiring to see you from where I met you, now doing so well in your true passion.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on the show.
Of course, Adam.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you. Okay, well, coming up next, we still have some amazing guests. We have some of the main people from the San Diego Film Festival, the Latino Film Festival, so you won't want to miss this. Stay with us. You're watching Somos Uno. Well, joining us now is Ivan Apodaca. He's a Latino, a San Diegan. He's a filmmaker, and he's going to be part of the Latino San Diego Film Festival. And I'm really excited to get to know all the insight on what goes on in this festival, and of course, what he's going to be featuring. So let's dive right in. Hello, Evan, and thank you for joining us. I'm really excited to hear, first of all, how you got started in this, but then, of course, you got to let us know what the feature is this year.
So I started filmmaking about 3-4 years ago, and I made a film about the cultural assimilation of my family. My family is Mexican American, and I basically brought photos to life and animated them, interviewed people in my family, and my family's from East LA, and so that was actually screened 2 years ago. And since then, I've just kind of been producing, doing experiments.
And what inspired you? What inspired you to get into film?
Well, I used to be an artist, a visual artist, you know, kind of working in a studio, doing sculpture, painting everything under the sun, and film just became a medium for me to be really direct with what I want to say, and it's a medium that's accessible to everyone.
That's
you know,
right.
you can get it online. You know, it's an accessible
So you
medium.
got pretty lucky with your first film. It was already in the San Diego Latino Film Festival.
Yeah.
So how'd that become so big, or how were you able to be part of such a big festival so early on?
Yeah, I think it was just about taking time on a project. That first film took me about 6 months to make.
How long was it?
It's a 15-minute short documentary, and I just kind of pushed it. It was also streamed on PBS, and the Latino Film Festival was the first festival that I'd ever been in, That was 2 years ago, and just kind of have since been pushing, you know.
So it took off right away. You were able to be with PBS, another big company. So that's a big opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's really exciting. So you're a Latino, and you featured your family. Obviously, as Latinos, very family-oriented. So tell me, growing up, was that a big part of your life? You're always family-oriented. You're a big family guy?
I would say so, yeah.
Being a Latino, I think it comes along with the territory.
Definitely. It's an interesting, and that's what my first film was about. It's an interesting thing. I would say I'm very family-oriented. I identify as Chicano, like politically and as my identity. But also, it's an interesting thing when families have been in the U.S. for multiple generations, and you start to see changes in traditions, and in language, and people.
What generation are you?
I'm like third, fourth generation, yeah. So
you got to experience that from seeing your grandparents, your parents, and you see the difference. Is that something you were able to capture in your film?
In my first film, yeah, that's what the whole thing is about. It's about kind of cultural assimilation and how that looked, and you know, kind of what my ancestors would think about me today. You know?
And what's some of the feedback you got from that film?
Oh my God, that was insane. I had online especially just had thousands of people sharing their stories with me that were similar to mine. People of all colors, you know, kind of like...
As a minority coming to this country, is that what you were feeling? Those stories people were sharing, very similar to a Latino story?
Yeah, well, especially people whose families have been here for a while, you know. Those are the folks that really identified with the film, you know.
Well, I know you have a new one. And I hope to be seeing it soon because the Latino Film Festival is coming up. So tell us about that new film. It's a little different. I won't give it away, but tell us about it.
So it's a kind of a hybrid documentary. It uses fictional techniques, visual effects to tell a story about a friend of mine who is also an artist who took a van, like an old 1970s van. They used to deliver bread, and he made it into a lowrider with hydraulics and everything. So I decided to interview him and document his process of making this transformation. And while he was talking about it to me, he was saying that he likes to put himself into his car. And so I try to make that as literal as possible. So what you're going to see is this anthropomorphized van. It's a person/van, and he's being interviewed.
Yes, it caught me off guard. As soon as I started watching the video, I'm like, what am I watching? But because it does capture your attention, I kept watching. I have to say it was really funny. And I didn't know what it was leading to. So it's a lowrider van. Something, again, a lot of Latinos, you know, it has to do with the Latino community and those lowriders. What was the reason he was doing this?
It's his expression. He's an artist. He kind of delves into like art installation, sculpture, performance, and he got a grant to do this project, and this was just his form of expression.
That's amazing. He got a grant for a lowrider van. Pretty interesting. What was that through?
That was the San Diego Foundation here. It was a Creative Catalyst grant.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know there was such a thing.
There is such a
Maybe
thing.
I can get one, make my car into a lowrider. So you're gonna have this film, and you said that this is the second time. Were you invited back, or how does that work? How does the process work?
I had to submit the film online, and they review it, and there's a process, you know, for accepting
Lots
films.
of competition?
Yeah, lots of competition. Definitely people from all over the world. This one is specifically in the Frontera series. Okay. So it's like mainly local filmmakers. There's very few filmmakers, unfortunately, here in San Diego, but...
Good for you. Yeah, less competition on that side, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So is this the same process you had to go through in the beginning?
Definitely,
Or maybe now that you've been with them, they recognize your name,
that
they were able to...
Yeah,
you
there
think?
might be some of that, yeah.
Well, that grant sounds like an amazing opportunity for you. But before we go, I do want you to share with people, so where can we see the film festival? What days is it going to be?
So it's from March 15th to the 25th.
And where can you go watch all these amazing films?
It's at the AMC Fashion Valley 18.
Okay, so it's going to be here locally. There's no excuse not to show up. San Diego Latino Film Festival. And as a filmmaker, where can people reach out to you or possibly see some of your films?
So I have a website. It's www.evanmapodaca.com.
Okay, so we'll make sure to put it on the screen for everyone in case they can't spell that tricky last name. Thank you for joining us, and of course, thank you for sharing that film. I'm really excited to see everything.
Thank you.
Okay, well, stay with us. Coming up next, we have Paola Middleton. She's going to be sharing with us the San Diego lifestyles in our Realty segment. You're watching Somos Uno. We'll be right back.
Every client.
Every client.
Every client.
Every client.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
No exceptions.
No exceptions.
No exceptions.
No exceptions.
No excuses.
No excuses.
No excuses.
No excuses. Every client. Every time. No exceptions.
No excuses.
Welcome back to Somos Uno. My guest today for the real estate segment is Paola Middleton with Canter Brokerage. Paola, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very excited.
Paola, you have a very, very interesting story. We like to highlight our agents, and you're a local agent, but tell us a little bit more about where you started, where you came from. Our viewers would love to hear who you are.
So I was born in Torreon in Mexico, but I was raised in Mexico City. So I lived in Mexico City most of my life, and I moved to San Diego when I got married around 8 years ago, I think.
No, that's awesome. You know what, Mexico City, I mean, you don't know this about me, but I was born in Mexico City.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Chilangos.
Chilangos. So, once we're done with the show, we got to definitely talk about your favorite spots and places that we can definitely share.
Oh, yeah, I have a few in mind.
But so I want to talk to you some more about your listing. You have a beautiful property that you brought to the show today. Can you tell me some more about it?
So yeah, actually it's two properties because it's a duplex. It's in Mission Beach, and it's the address is 706 and 708 Balboa Court, and it's an amazing property because it could be used as investment property, as rentals, or you can just buy one of the properties or both, or live in one and rent the other one, which it's awesome, all the possibilities. It is. The downstairs unit, it's smaller. It's 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, around 950 square feet. And the upstairs unit, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and around 1350 square feet. They both have patios and a big balcony. It's a block away from the ocean, and it has ocean views.
That's awesome.
And my favorite part is that it's fully remodeled. Actually, we did the renovation. Part of our services is not only real estate, we also do remodels and help our clients to oversee their renovations. So this one, we renovated it. It has the best finishes, as you can see in the pictures. And yeah, it's actually gonna be in the market until spring.
Okay, perfect. You know what? I saw the pictures of this home, and it looks beautiful. You guys did an amazing job just redoing the whole place. The staging on it is amazing. The way that you guys decorate, I mean, I think when you want to buy a house, as soon as you walk into it, you get that feeling. Do I love this house? Do I not? And I think you guys did an amazing job with this property.
Thank you so much. Yeah, actually, that's one of our strengths in our team. I'm with the Whitney Pizer team at Canter Brokerage. But one of the services we give is that, staging, decorating our clients' properties. And it's like a complimentary service. So a lot of our clients actually look for us because we do that. So that's awesome. We love it. We know the importance of when we're selling a home, make it look pretty, or when our clients buy a home, make it, help them transform it into their dream home.
Yeah, because as I'm walking into this house, I'm looking at the pictures, and it looks like a brand new home.
It is, yeah.
So it's a block from the beach.
And a block from the beach.
And what more could you ask for, right?
I know. It's amazing just having that. And actually it has La Cantina windows, which are retractable windows, where it makes the spaces become indoor-outdoor when you open them. So that's pretty awesome in both units.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So tell me about the price point on the property.
So as I was saying, it's gonna come in the market in spring 2018. Right now we have a tenant. We fully remodel it, and then we had a tenant just to move for a few months, and it's gonna be around 1.1 for the downstairs unit and around 1.45 million for the upstairs unit.
That's perfect. You know what? Living just a block from the beach is one of those things that I think a lot of San Diegans, because we're an outdoors people, meaning we love to go to the beach, we love to be in the sun, and just to live right there. I mean, is...
It has everything San Diego has to offer.
It does. It
And
does.
you can live in one and rent the other one, so it becomes an income property.
Absolutely. And I mean, or you can, maybe live in both.
Or live in both.
But Paola, if people want to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you?
Just it could be through my email or my Instagram account. My Instagram is Paola Middleton Homes. My email is pmiddleton@Canter Brokerage. Or my phone number is 619-316-4396.
So Paola, one last thing I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
So you're not only bilingual, but I understand that you are trilingual.
Yes.
Okay.
I need to practice my French a little bit more, but I could still say I'm trilingual.
Perfect. And that's because you lived abroad.
I lived in Paris for a year, and I have a lot of French friends, so that kept me practicing the language, and it just, I just love it. I mean, speaking English, you can get wherever you want, but being in real estate and knowing the importance of connecting with clients, when you speak Spanish, when you speak French, they feel more comfortable when they are talking to you.
It is. It's about being relatable.
Yeah.
When I have people come into my office, asking for a loan, what I do is if they're Spanish speakers, I speak to them in Spanish, because
of
I mean that
course.
brings down the barriers. I mean that makes them feel connected.
Yeah.
They know that we understand each other, the language,
Of
the
course.
customs. I mean that crosses just creates that bond.
And that is very important what you're saying, because our Mexican clients or Latin American clients, even though a lot of them speak English, as you know, they still want someone that speaks Spanish, that understands what they need. And they have different needs as clients. That's why we have a group of experts, lawyers, stagers, everything that they speak Spanish, that they understand the market, and they can help them through buying their home.
Paola, I want to thank you very much for coming on our segment and sharing this beautiful property with us. So I hope you can come back with us again. And
Thank you, whenever.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Please stay with us. We'll be back with more Somos Uno. My special guest today for the real estate segment is Carly Chavez with Renovation Realty. Carly, tell us about yourself.
Thank you for having me in the first place. Well, I'm a San Diego native, born and raised here in San Diego. I grew up in a primarily Latino community in South San Diego, only minutes away from Tijuana, Baja California. I grew up in a border town crossing basically from Tijuana to San Diego, back and forth. My parents really couldn't afford living in San Diego back in the 80s, so we lived in Tijuana at that time to allocate enough funds and us to finally buy something over here. Yeah. Once that happened, obviously my parents have always really taught me the value of home ownership and the value of having a property here in San Diego or anywhere else.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And there's a lot of people that have kind of your story where they actually, lived in Tijuana and come over, go to schools and just better themselves. And
Exactly.
Part of Somos Uno is it's basically that. It's how are we gonna better ourselves?
Exactly.
And as a community, I think everybody wants, like my parents wanted better than they did for themselves, for their kid. My dad, at some point, he cleaned bathrooms and he said, you know what, son, I don't want you to be cleaning toilets like I do.
Yeah.
I want you to go to school. I want you to get an
100%.
education. And I'm sure that's the same story that your parents wanted for you.
Exactly. I mean, my parents worked in the restaurant industry. My dad was a server. He had about 2-3 jobs, back and forth. He loved San Diego. He thought it was beautiful, everything about it. He worked at the Holiday Inn, right in the Harbor Drive. And he would always tell me, this is where it is. This is where you're going to have better opportunities, a better life.
That's awesome. So tell me, how did you get into real estate?
It's something that my parents have always told me about homeownership and properties. My dad built his business in rental units. So we kind of started off of that, having a lot of rental units and building properties. And I kind of took it upon myself to get my real estate license. And I took it also upon myself because I realized a need in our Latino community for more trusted real estate agents, for more trusted lenders. And I knew I just wanted to help that specific community as well. And honestly, most of the time, the Latino community as well, we don't maybe have the cash to get a HELOC or have this cash just laying around somewhere. we put it in for you. We're just here to help others.
Absolutely. So can you tell me a little bit about your listing today?
We have a listing at 4023 Debbie Ann Place in South San Diego. It's a 4-bedroom, 2 full bath. It's about 1,700 square feet. It's beautiful. We just completely renovated. We put new floors, new appliances. We painted it interior and exterior, new curb appeal as well, like you said, new light fixtures. We invested about $90K in this home.
Wow.
And we're actually listing it for $480 to $520, and we just put it on the market yesterday, and we're gonna have it open the whole weekend. So come by, visit me. I'll be there all weekend, from 12 to 4 on Saturday, tomorrow from 2 to 5. I also could have probably been there today as well if I wanted to come by here. But I mean, it's a great community, great place to build, have a family there.
That house is just, it's perfect. It's super clean. It almost looks like a brand new home.
Yes, it really does look like a brand new home. And that's what we did. We put those beautiful little touches that it needed.
One of the great things about the price point that you have right now is, that's a great price point for like a first-time home buyer, kind of situation.
Yes.
And, most of our Hispanic buyers are first-time home buyers, and they can probably purchase something like that with like 3.5% down, say with like an FHA loan. And especially once you guys have gone in there and taken care of some of the deferred maintenance, whereas if the homeowner had not taken care of it, this property could not get financed FHA otherwise. So I think that's a huge selling point for you guys as well.
100%. We got it ready for an FHA and VA approved home. So it's very easily attainable for the average home buyer that's out there.
I think that's amazing because, when somebody wants to go into their first home, they don't want to walk into a place where they have to do a ton of repairs. And honestly, most people that are going to buy their home, like for the very, very first time, they don't have an extra 10, 20, 30,000 to go in and do exactly what you guys do. So I think this is a great solution. And I definitely appreciate what you guys do with Renovation Realty. And, with you having open houses, definitely, reach out to the Hispanic community and, we're very loyal.
No, definitely.
So, for more information, please come to our website, and as well, please reach out to Carly. And Carly, where can they get a hold of you if they'd like to get more information on this home?
You can either get a hold of me by my cell phone, email address. I'm always like a phone call away. My number is 619-495-1339. And my email is kchavez@renovationrealty.com. And again, yo hablo español. Yo estoy aquí para ayudar a la comunidad hispana. Y me encanta lo que yo hago. Y nomás estoy aquí para ayudarlos a ustedes.
Thank you very much, Carly. I appreciate you being on the show with us, and we'll definitely keep you guys in mind for any homeowners that might need some help with, getting their homes renovated and getting put on the market.
Thank you.
Please stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Somos Uno.
Well, with that, unfortunately, we are out of time, but we'd like to thank our guest, Ethan Van Thilo, and also Evan Apodaca with the San Diego Film Festival.
As well as thank you, Paola Middleton with Canter Brokerage for showing us your amazing listing in San Diego County.
That's right. And Chef Adam Robles with Enchillamesta Catering. Of course, we want to thank all of them, and also thank you for always watching.
If we haven't featured those making a difference in your community, or you're looking for more content, let us know by heading over to our website at Somos Uno TV.
And don't forget to follow us on social media.
Absolutely, Lili. Hasta la vista.
And see you later.